Hello everyone, welcome to our presentation. We are from Group J. As you can see on the screen, our topic is two-layer recurrent neural network for non-smooth convex optimization problems. This is our group members. This is our leader, ABDULLAH Harith, and there is PRAMESWARI, Muhammad FIRDAUS AIMAN, and XIAN as members. For the introduction, an artificial neural network is an information processing model inspired by the biological neuron system. The type of N that will be discussed is a two-layer recurrent neural network. It is one that works with sequential data. For the example, the letters in the alphabet ring from A to Z are sequential data. And a person who has learned the English language can say each letter in order as the brain remembers it in a sequence. Take the exact same letters and flip them backward sequence from Z to A, and the person will have a much more difficult time saying each letter in order. As it was opposite to the sequence, the brain has remembered that the data in.
Next, we will be talking about the data analysis part. Mainly, the data analysis part, we will talk about the multi-layer hidden layers in neural network and recurrent neural network. The multi-layer hidden layers in neural network is an artificial neural network with more than a single layer. It is also known as the multi-layer perceptron. The neural network contains input, output, and a certain number of hidden layers. In this case, we use 2 hidden layers. The hidden layers are called hidden layers because there is no direct input, and the value used is obtained through the activation function of the input neurons. The hidden layers are compulsory for data that are not suitable to be separated linearly. If it was a situation where it directly apply the single line prediction, it will abruptly decrease the accuracy and the model performance. Therefore, by having a hidden layer in semantic network, it allows the model to produce a line origin, which results in defining the best decision boundary. Next, we'll be talking about the recurrent neural network, which is a type of artificial neural network which uses sequential data or time series data. An example of sequential data is, for example, a sentence. For example, my name is Mutu and his name is Ali. If the sentence were to be the sequence of the sentence will be changed. For example, my name is Ali and his name is Mutu. The meaning of the sentence is completely changed. So the sequence in this situation is very important. That's the type of data that the recurrent neural network uses. Due to this type of recurrent neural network, it takes advantage of feedback and feedforward process of the semantic network in finding the optimal weight changes to eliminate differences between predicted and targeted output. Due to its behavior, it is good and specializes in processing information sequences. It performs in calculating individuals' input of both handwriting and speech and finds the correct output. In the IRIS dataset, which is the dataset that we use for our project, the recurrent neural network allows the weight for each link to be adjusted bit by bit to eliminate errors between predicted and targeted output.
So today I'll be explaining about a learning process in our project. So our project title is about a two-layer neural network for iris classification. So we are going to use a perceptron, but first we need to understand what does perceptron mean. Alright, perceptron is a building block of ANN. It is the simplest neural network where you have only input and output. There's no hidden layer, there's just only input layer and also output layer, like this one, right? Okay, so what is the advantages of using this perceptron? It is simple and easy to understand, and of course for simple classification problem, it can be easily be solved. So, but there's a limitation when using about the perceptron. But what about a bigger and a complex problem? So that's when perceptron becomes a perceptron have its own limitation, where it's not a linearly separable. Right. So like this problem, you can see that for perceptron we can't actually use one line for separate these two data. So that's where it comes for like a drawbacks for a perceptron. So for our cases, like in our project, we're not going to use a simple perceptron because it's not going to solve our problem, because for iris classification we have three different of iris classes, so we can't use a simple perceptron to separate between these among the data. All right, so that's where we use a multi-layer perceptron. A multi-layer perceptron is actually a perceptron but with a additional of a hidden layer. That's when the hidden layer comes in hand, where it can actually group your data and separate a nonlinear separable problem, just like our problem for three different classes, where it can actually group them between respectively for each of the classification of the iris classification.
Here is average scatter of every possible combination feature available in our dataset. We can clearly see that some of the feature combination able to effectively cluster and some of them fails. And there is a cluster which combine with other cluster. This is the result of similarities between the data which have a different output. This proves that there will always be a relevant feature that destroy the complex model performance. So, this is the result of our model by implementing two layers of hidden layer. We can see that the weight and bias are each linked. Nodes are truly random. After the first approach, output error obtained and will be used for the weight and bias adjustment process until certified result obtained.
I'll be continued for a demo for our project in RStudio. Alright, so we're going to build a neural network using RStudio to solve our project problem. Alright, so the first thing we need to do is we need to get the data set. For iris classification, we use the iris dataset. So the first thing first we need to change is about the class of this iris dataset, where we're going to change to this variety class Sentosa, versicolor, and also Virginica to a number such as like Sentosa will be 1, versicolor will be 2, and Virginica will be 3. Right, this is because to avoid from getting error such as like because we want to process it using a only number, so we're going to change it to Sentosa and also for a number like 1 and 2, 3. Okay, so I have changed it already. So what I'm going to do is to read the Excel file. So we're going to use my data, this one, CSV, and the name of the file iris.csv. Okay, and then we're gonna attach to my data. This is for variable to store the iris dataset. Okay, so my data. Right. Okay, so as we can see here, my data. This is the dataset that I'm talking about just now. Talking about this a whole data set, we're going to change the variety into 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so yeah, okay, 3. All right, next one, we're going to scale the data. This is because scaling is about adjusting data to a common scale for comparing the predicted and output values, right? So we're going to scale the data, and my data is the data set. Okay, so you can see here the scale, right? Next one, I'm going to use a normalization. So for normalization, if the data is not normalized, will result in prediction where the value will be remaining same across all observation. So we're going to normalize our normalize. Okay. Okay, so after we done the normalize, so next one we're gonna use a max min df, which mean that this one is for a user max min technique, which is a implement of the k nearest neighbor. Okay, So okay, all right. After then the backsmin def. Oh, okay. For this one, and apply is used for to apply a normalized function on each features of above data frame. So for the next one, we're going to split the data set into a train set and also for test set. Okay, so for train set first, train set. Okay. We're going to split the data set into 80% of train set and also 20% for a test set. Okay, so this one. Okay. One is for test set. Um, one. Okay, done. Alright, for next one, we're going to model our neural network into a certain of features. Okay, so we're going to use this command, right? Variety is for the output layer, output. Okay, so sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width for our input, and then we run it. This data we use is train set, hidden layer, which means that we have a 2 nodes and 1 hidden layer. Okay, run it. Okay, and next we're going to plot the neural network that we built. And as you can see here, that this is the uh, I'm so sorry. Just now, for this one is hidden layer, two hidden layer, and one 2 nodes for 2 nodes, and another one for 1 node. So we're going to use a two hidden layer. Right. So next one, we're going to actually test our. So actually, this is kind of the output that we have, right? So based on this one, we want to test whether the accuracy is good or not by simply type results, and then we got it. The actual value and the prediction. So we can see that it's not too far from it. So we actually kind of success in order to make a prediction based on the input.
Last is the conclusion. This project proposes a two-layer recurrent neural network that can achieve good classification from the iris dataset using R. Artificial neural network attempt to recognize the underlying relationship of a dataset in a way that replicates the operation of the human brain. The iris flower dataset contains data on 3 related species of iris flowers. The complex model is able to make prediction with high accuracy. That's all from us. Thank you for your attention.